Lord Vivek, we failed you. Forgive me, Outlander, but I have enough to deal with. I'm just a simple tribunal priest, and the trouble at the ancestral tomb was too much for even our buoyant armiger to deal with. I have failed Lord Vivek, and left a colleague alone at the tomb. Lord Vivek sent the three of us to seek guidance at the Andrano ancestral tomb. We were attacked when we got there, and our guard was seriously hurt. I barely got her to safety, but we failed to complete the mission Lord Vivek bestowed upon us. Canon Levoul. He remained behind after we retreated from the tomb. I know he wants to get back inside and ask Lord Vivek's questions, but there's no way he can get past the Daedra, or ask the questions on his own. May the three grant him wisdom.
Tanaza, what's wrong? Someone help!
By the three! First a wounded armiger, now this!
By dawn and dusk, evil creeps through the shadows of my beloved Vvardenfell. But an outlander arrives to aid my people, just as I have foreseen.
Those words, what do they mean?
What happened?
Merciful Azura, the Mother Soul spoke through you. It's a miracle!
Lord Vivek, protect me! That was Azura, the Queen of the Night Sky. And you, she spoke directly to you, Outlander. I'm surprised the Daedric Prince would risk Lord Vivek's wrath to proclaim a prophecy. But she did say you were here to aid us. The Daedric Prince Azura possessed that woman and spoke through her. I've heard of such occurrences, of course, but to witness such an event... She said evil creeps through the land. I wonder if it has anything to do with what we saw at the tomb. We sought guidance in a matter that concerns Lord Vivek. I received specific questions to ask while Levoul concentrated on summoning his ancestor. The Daedra ruined those plans when they fell upon Urnsey, and we were forced to flee. Vile creatures from oblivion. You hear about an odd ghost or a nest of vampires, but never Daedra. Please, if they're still there, they'll rip Canon Levoul apart. He's definitely not a warrior. Just look at what they did to the buoyant armiger. The buoyant armigers comprise one of the military orders of the Tribunal Temple. They seek to emulate Lord Vivek's deeds through actions and words. Poor Urnsey. Those monsters went straight for her. Her blood flowed like lava from Red Mountain. Where are you from? Children learn of Red Mountain before they even taste Flynn. The mountain sits at the center of Vvardenfell, periodically rumbling like a sleeping Nyx shaking its leg. Lately, however, it seems to be waking from its long slumber. Azura is the cruel but wise Daedric Prince of Dawn and Dusk. She's one of the good Daedra, for what that's worth. But for her to speak through an innocent means something terrible is about to happen. Why else would she dare Lord Vivek's wrath? What do they teach you where you come from? Lord Vivek's a living god! Azura is merely the anticipation of Sothasil. Vivek stands as the present and the future, while Azura clearly represents Vvardenfell's past. So no, they don't get along. You don't know Lord Vivek, one of the living gods of the Dunmer Tribunal. You must be new to our land, Outlander. But there's no time. Canon Levoul remain behind. He needs help if he's going to get inside the tomb and ask Vivek's questions. Yes, one of the god monarchs of Morrowind. He's the warrior poet who lives in a grand palace in Vivec City. Lord Vivec sent us on this holy mission to request information from Canon Levoul's ancestor. It breaks my heart that I have failed him.
Bah! Dolk. Yes. Hello. What are you doing out in the middle of nowhere? Going for a walk? This one often walks. Around here, I mean. Nervous? Me? Ha! Do not make this one laugh. Hallin here is just horrible. Bandits kicked this one out of his home and stole his crops. Hallingier is just a simple farmer, you see. They will make me a starving pauper. You will help? Oh, bless you. This one planted his crops in a cavern nearby. Zain Sipilu, please, retrieve my notes and poison the water. Without proper irrigation, the plants will wither. It pains me to kill them, but these bandits must not prosper. You are a true hero, Walker. A brave and noble warrior. Falora and I are forever in your debt. Sorry, I was just... Hey! You and I have the same belt buckle. What are the chances, huh? I am sorry. This one is a nervous wreck. Hallingier is growing a rare Khajiiti herb. Very delicate and very desirable. Good for seasoning fish and soothing the humors. Satisfied? Do not worry, Walker. You can depend on Hallingier. Falora is this one's loyal farmhand. She is not very bright, and she is very lazy. Always scribbling notes and asking silly questions. But I keep her on anyway. Hallingier always does right by his friends. I could, but this one likes Falora. Plus, she probably knows too much. Oh, she knows too much about my farming practices. Yes. Hallingier has many secret farming tricks, like using fish heads and guar dung for fertilizer. But this one has already said too much, yes? Sorry, I was just... Hey! You and I have the same belt buckle. What are the chances, huh?
My eyes look red to you.
Welcome to our shop. Feel free to look around.
Get yourself a drink, and one for me.
Not now, citizen. I'm up to my armpits in problems today.
What do you want?
If you'll excuse me, I'm quite busy at the moment. Come back and see me later. Satan is the preeminent port into Vvardenfell. I process new arrivals so the Tribunal knows who might be gallivanting across this fair land. It's so much more prestigious than my efforts for the Gold Coast Trading Company. Once, long ago in another life, I served as a clerk for the company right here in Vvardenfell. Helped build many of the fine Imperial-style structures you see. I must have impressed House Hlalu, for they offered me this distinguished position. For the most part, but sometimes it takes great effort not to strangle one or more of these pointy-eared blusterers. For example, no one ever remembers their birth sign. Some even try to change their answers on repeat visits, as if I wouldn't notice.
An outlander. I can never seem to get enough of your kind here. You're welcome in Vvardenfell, of course. Just obey the laws and refrain from causing trouble, and you'll get along just fine.
Despite all the excitement around the recent shipwreck, I'm in here, guarding the governor's office. I suppose someone might want to steal a quill or a stack of parchment, but still. My talents are clearly being wasted.
cause trouble and only sorrow.
By order of the Deputy Governor of Sedanine, which happens to be me, the lighthouse is closed until further notice. On the other hand, I seek an outlander who's willing to do a little work. I need someone without ties to the area to look into a matter for me. It seems the lighthouse was broken into. The flame was extinguished. As a result, a ship crashed along the shore. There were fewer bodies than expected, both living and dead. I suspect slavers were involved, which means they had help here in town. I find that unacceptable. Discover who doused the lamp fire. They'll lead us to the slavers. Question Delms, who was on duty that night. He's in the lighthouse. I need to check in with the Overseer. His workers are searching the wreckage, and I want to know what they've uncovered. By the time we were alerted and had organized a response, precious moments had been lost. We rescued a few, but mostly we found those who had drowned or were crushed on the rocks. Even so, it was nowhere near the numbers a ship like that carries. It was just a typical sailing ship from the mainland. I suppose it carried the usual complement of cargo and travelers eager to reach our verdant shores. I don't believe that such a vessel would make the trip without filling its holds. Damn slavers. Ever since our agreement with the Pact went into effect, slavery has been outlawed throughout most of Morrowind. But all we did was drive the slavers into the shadows. This whole stinking event has their bloody fingerprints all over it. Here, and in all of the territories controlled by the great houses that support the Ebonheart Pact. If you stray into Telvanni or Dres territory, though, the practice remains strong and vibrant. Hence my current troubles. It was just a typical sailing ship from the mainland. I suppose it carried the usual complement of cargo and travelers eager to reach our verdant shores. I don't believe that such a vessel would make the trip without filling its holds. Damn slavers. We are just a small outpost along the Bitter Coast, but I like to think of us as the gateway to Vvardenfell. From here, Vivec City and the other inland locations are easily accessible. Governor O'Melian is in charge, although I contribute as necessary.
Anyone who has house Dres's respect has mine.
Halt! No one's allowed up here. She asked you to... an outlander? Isn't it enough she stuck me up here to guard the flame indefinitely, but now she's looking for help outside the house guard? What else can I expect after what happened the other night? Findon sent a barrel of his finest ale for Watch Captain Bethes's birthday. Powerful stuff. 1 cup and we could barely keep our eyes open. The entire regiment was knocked on its collective arse. When I came to my senses, I saw that the fire had gone out. Look, once I heard the crash along the shore, it was all I could do to get moving and raise the alarm. Cherish's water loves to loiter near the lighthouse. Maybe she noticed something. If you're intent on doing your job, you should talk to her.
Do you mind? Your dirty foot coverings are contaminating my pond. So direct you are. It makes my tongue wither and the answers dry up in my mouth. Go and bother someone else with your parching questions. No! There's no need to involve the governor's deputy or the house guard. When they start breathing down my neck, my scales shrivel right up. I did notice someone near the lighthouse that night. You keep asking the wrong question. I did not see anyone that night. I felt them. They made ripples in the water. I felt them stuck by the tree that overlooks my pond. Then they moved off towards the lighthouse. Look to the tree, moist one. I prefer my waters to remain still, calm. Prying causes ripples, and ripples lead to more dry questions. Would you be so kind as to move along? You're disrupting the current. Talk of gods makes my scales itch. If the living gods really cared, they wouldn't make me suffer. Now take your religious foolishness and peddle it someplace else.
Not now, citizen. I'm up to my armpits in problems today. Really, Outlander, it's commendable that you're trying to learn our ways, but the words of the Tribunal just sound silly when you say them like that. I suggest you stick to sightseeing and leave the religion to us.
Do you like firm, juicy tomatoes? I've been told that mine are the best in the city. Go ahead and see for yourself. Ha ha ha! That's a good one! That tribunal nonsense is almost as funny as some of the things I heard in Hrothgar. Say, if you want to get together later, I know a couple of body stories that I'd love to share.
What do you mean that's enough?
Welcome to our shop. Feel free to look around. Keep it down. We don't want to attract undue attention. But what happened? I thought I was supposed to go to the drop. You didn't come all this way just to give me my reward, did you? Already? Let me see. Oh, it's beautiful. I love working for the Tribunal. It's so much better than trying to earn a living as a thief in Vivec City. But where's your helmet? I've never seen an Ordinator out of uniform before. Oh, right. We're not supposed to talk about Ordinators in the Tribunal in such a public place. But it feels good to be doing holy work for a change. And such a simple task, snuffing out the lighthouse flame. I mean, Omsidi is the ending of words. Oh, that was easy. I put a sleeping draught in the ale they ordered for Watch Captain Bethes's birthday. The guards were unconscious within the hour. I hope I can be of service again. For the Tribunal.
Care to join me?
Unfortunately, the wreck of the vessel provided no additional clues. Were you able to discover anything during your investigation? The young woman who works with the grocer. I doubt the Tribunal would ask her to do something so reckless. Do you have any proof other than her word? This is disturbing. This parchment feels just like the sheets that Governor O'Melian special orders from High Rock. I'm going to need you to acquire another sample from the Governor's office. It's the only way to be certain. Not if I don't want him to know I suspect that he's working with the slavers, or the tribunal, though I still consider that to be some sort of fabrication. No, if I alert him too soon, he'll just cover his tracks. Not the office. He keeps it in his private quarters, accessed through the guardhouse. But I'd never suggest that you sneak into his quarters and steal a blank sheet of his special parchment. That would be against the law. Do you understand me? If anything goes... Back again? So tell me, you didn't do anything unlawful now, did you? That's odd. We haven't done a search of Firemoth Island since Governor O'Melian declared that the House Guard was better used patrolling farther up the coast. And these parchment sheets definitely match. This is very disturbing. What I think doesn't matter. We need evidence. But we also need to launch a rescue. Slavery is illegal in Pact territory. It's time to visit Firemoth Island. Hopefully, somewhere along the way, we'll find more proof of Governor O'Melian's ties to all of this. Attack before the soldiers have been assembled? That's not a prudent course of action. We need to muster our forces, make plans and contingencies, unlock the armory. What was that? That's a distress signal, and it came from Firemoth Island. No time to prepare. We have to rescue the slavers' prisoners. Soldiers, to the ships! We sail for Firemoth Island!
Well?
I'm free, thanks to you.
I owe you one.
At last, I'm free.
I can't believe it. Free. Who's got a whetstone?
I informed the governor that the captives we rescued from Firemoth Island are safe and sound. Do you have anything you'd like to add? This note clearly implicates the governor. Along with the other evidence you uncovered, it's obvious that he was working with the slavers. Well done. Seydanine owes you for this great service, but I'll take it from here.
Well, I suppose we're done here. I have a silt strider waiting.
No. Governor O'Melian, I am placing you under arrest for promoting slavery in Pact territory.
How dare you accuse me of such a thing? You have no proof.
A note on your parchment, which led to the sabotage of the lighthouse and a shipwreck off our coast. A letter naming you as the slaver captain's partner. Do you deny your involvement?
That proves nothing. I'll have you hanged for this.
Sergeant Delms! He's dead! Murderer! Sergeant Delms knew that you had a report claiming Firemoth Island was free of slavers, and we both know that was a lie.
The sergeant's dead. Who would do such a thing?
Secure him!
Yes, Governor Salvi.
I hope to bring honor back to the station of governor, and shall do my best to restore the people's faith in us. Thank you again for your part in all of this.
Let Lord Vivek down. Those monsters, it's too dangerous. What am I going to do? Did Canon Valasar send you? Oh, she did, didn't she? That means she made it to Seydanine. Vivek be praised. Will you help me complete my mission? It would be sacrilege if I don't enter my family's tomb and make Lord Vivek's inquiries. As the saints declare, the tribunal always provides. We'll need to be cautious, however. Daedra invaded the tomb. Makes it hard to talk to one's ancestors while monsters try to eat you. I'll also need your help when we reach the summoning chamber. Take this scroll with Lord Vivec's inquiries, while I summon forth my ancestor spirit and concentrate on maintaining the connection. You must ask the questions. He insists we use the exact phrasing. We can go inside when you're ready. I've already lost precious time due to the buoyant armiger's wounds, but I suppose a few more moments won't make the volcano erupt or the moonlit fall from the sky or anything. What else can I tell you, my friend? I'm not quite sure, and it wasn't my place to ask. When your living god gives you a task, you say, "Yes, my lord." The questions seem to involve the time before the tribunal, which I assume is why we must ask them of my long-dead ancestor. A few of my contemporaries can boast of a luminary such as Farina Andrina occupying a prime branch upon their family tree. Lady Farina studied at the feet of Sothasil and was counted among his companions before the tribunal rose to power. Who's Sothasil? It's like asking who are Vivec and Almalexia. They are the tribunal, the living gods of the Dunmer. Sothasil is the architect of time and the binder of oblivion. If you want to know more, we can talk after we've finished. Well, I can tell you why they weren't here the last time I paid my respects. Canon Valasar thinks they're some kind of Daedra, determined to keep us from fulfilling Lord Vivec's will. Until you showed up, I wasn't sure what I was going to do. Before we go in there and face those monsters, I want you to know how much I appreciate your aid in this matter. Just don't lose the scroll that contains Lord Vivec's questions. Now come, let's call forth my ancestor. I'll open the tomb door. Follow me, but keep an eye out for those Daedra. Careful! The creatures attacked as soon as we entered the Hall of Remembrance. This used to be such a peaceful place. I came here as a young acolyte to meditate. We're nearly there. Then we can summon my ancestor. The summoning chamber. I'll call forth my ancestor, then you can ask Vivek's questions.
Hasn't my rest been disturbed enough by those filthy Daedra? Why do you summon me, descendant?
My Lord Vivek has inquiries that only you can answer, my lady. My companion will present them with your permission.
The warrior poet? Very well. Ask Vivek's questions. Ask the warrior poet's questions, Outlander. Ah, Lord Vivek always had a way with words. Tell him to rest assured. The heart remains safe. I wonder why that concerns him. Ask the remaining questions, as my time here is short. An enemy of old, yes, but not the one that Vivek presumes. Sotha Sil imagined multiple scenarios and contemplated endless solutions. He even experimented with his divinity, drawing energy to study before returning it. Loss will come, he foresaw, but not until the collapse of the temple. Now, back to sleep.
I hope that's what Lord Vivek needed. Let's talk outside. Thank you for helping me complete my task. Now, I need to return to Vivek City. Have you been there? It's amazing. Ziggurats rising out of the water, the moonlit hanging in the sky above. You should meet me there so I can introduce you to Lord Vivek. Just between us, I understood neither the questions asked nor the answers received. Not that I expected to. Some things aren't meant for mortal minds. That's another reason for you to come to Vivek City, to help me explain what my ancestors said. Excellent. I just need to make a quick stop in Seydanin to check on my original traveling companions. When you get to Vivek City, head right to the palace and I'll meet you there. I know that Lord Vivek will want to reward you for assisting me. I'll be along shortly. When you get to Vivek City, head directly for Lord Vivek's palace. Once there, I'll make introductions and we can tell the warrior poet everything we've learned. Of course. As I said, the tribunal consists of our three living gods, Vivek, Almalexia, and Sotha Sil. They lead us in spiritual matters and rule over Dunmer society as god monarchs of the Dark Elves. I serve Vivek, but honor the entire tribunal. Unfortunately, no. The Dunmer houses bow to the tribunal, but the savage Ashlanders refuse to acknowledge their divinity. The heretics never allowed themselves to be assimilated into the great houses. Instead, they hold to primitive superstitions.
expect the name Vvardenfell to carry more weight with these priests. It's beyond belief that the temple keeps me waiting. Don't they realize that it's a courtesy that I'm here? My twin and I are apprentices to the great Vvardenfell. I'm here on his behalf to report to the priests about an incident which occurred near the growth site of his new tower, Tel Fear. A rift opened when we were shaping the workshop below the tower. Master Fear believes there is a connection to the living gods. He's sure to explore the rift once his expedition is assembled. My sister could tell you more if that interests you. You may take this boat to Tel Fear. Dania will be there assisting our master. She always was the lucky one. I must stay and wait for my audience with the priests. I didn't see much myself. I was evacuated well before the threat could reach me. Many weren't so lucky. I regret I'll be reporting that most of the Telvanni working on the tower died. Not while she's with Master Fear. He would never let anything happen to her. He's very protective of us. I can't speak for the rest of you. There was some confusion on that point. The things coming out of the rift appeared to be constructs, but like nothing anyone had seen. Master Fear's theory, which is assuredly correct, was that the rift converged with Clockwork City. Master Fear said about a dozen seasoned adventurers would do. Maybe less if they had extensive experience with planar travel, but he thought that unlikely.
You I don't recognize. If you've come to see Master Fear, he's preoccupied. Indefinitely. Oh. Of course, Danilo told you about that. Did she mention it's suicide? I'm sure she didn't. I don't doubt Master Fear will be fine passing through the rift, but anyone else? I'm not staking my life on it. No, I told Master Fear I wouldn't go. He just walked away. I think he fired me? I'm just glad he didn't ask my sister. If you have your heart set on an untimely death, Master Fear's still intent on going. I don't think Master Fear really means to end my service to him. Surely he's just preoccupied. The Telvanni were expanding the workshop into the caverns beyond this chamber, where the rift came into being. It seemed a trick of the light at first, like a carnival mirror. Then it began to tear, wider and wider until things spilled out. There were creatures, familiar beasts, but they weren't simple flesh any longer. They were fashioned, joined with machines, beautiful and terrible at the same time. I don't know if they live, but they hunger. Wait, are you saying you don't know who Vvardenfell is?
Yes. He's the most famed and respected mage in Vvardenfell. Maybe the world. There isn't a subject of magic he can't discuss in totality. I really hope he'll forgive me for abandoning his expedition. Trying to make myself useful by tallying casualties and damages for Master Fear. I know he's unhappy that I won't accompany him into the rift, but maybe this will help make up for it.
Come to consult the great Vvardenfell. Well, I'm afraid I'm rather preoccupied.
What a discovery! Those animunculi were resonating in a stable anharmonic oscillation. It's unprecedented, and it just fell in our laps. What rare fortune. By the three, progress always comes at a cost. Tell Vani understand that. They'd tell you they'd be honored to be associated with such a breakthrough if they could.
Oh, those things in the cave. They were like nothing I've ever seen. I've studied dwarven specimens from the Alakir Desert, Orsinium, all over. Never anything like those long-necked things.
My brother and I were studying the dwarven relics found throughout the cave, and then... we never should have wandered away from the rest of the Shapers. Excuse me, I can't talk about this right now.
The wounded have all been stabilized, but we lost so many. I'm afraid that the talent of tower shaping will be set back generations by their loss.
Master Fear sent a runner to inform me of your deed so that I could include them in my report. Such an amazing endeavor. I'm so jealous. I'm still waiting to deliver it, believe it or not.